Hey guys, welcome to Usually All Right. Today we're going to be doing a review of the Misc Starlite. It is a starter refueling ship, a very interesting gameplay loop that I think has a lot of potential.
I won't bore you with getting into the exact numbers on this thing. I'll put them up on the screen for you, but I do want to talk about what they mean. So this thing is actually surprisingly nimble for a industrial ship. It's not entirely slow, and it does have 4 size 2 repeaters. That's not going to be very much in terms of alpha unless you switch to deadbolts or fighting off a target, and your HP and the weakness of the fuel tanks isn't really going to allow that. But what it does mean is that you can fight off the basic things you're going to find in starter refueling missions. You'll have no issues against an Aurora, a Mustang, even a Hornet if you really need to. Your pitch yaw roll, when boosted, is going to be enough to keep you in the fight, against an NPC at least. That turret is also relatively useful for when you are refueling. You can hop on it and shoot at things that are coming in at you, just don't expect to do too much damage. You also only have 3.3 SCU of quantum fuel, which means if you're doing things in Pyro, you are going to run into some issues with your actual capacity to continue jumping. And those 2 size 1 shields are really only about as much as a light fighter as well. So avoid a fight. You can do a starter refueling mission if you need to, and it's a bit more nimble than you might expect. Cool. So obviously we can't talk about the Starlight with talking about refueling, which is pretty straightforward, and the new missions pay relatively well. Basically, you can take a mission, or a friend can come up to you, and either you request to dock with them with right alt N, or you request to dock with them. The other ship pulls up to the back of the Starlight or the Starfarer, and it should automatically dock when you get pretty dang close. From there, you're able to just drop down the menu in the Starlight using a switch on the bottom right and set your prices, and then allow them to purchase fuel from the vehicle loadout. How easy was that for you, man?
It was pretty easy this time. I've had a couple times where I've needed to get refueled by NPCs, and it has not gone well,
Yeah,
depending on server health and size of the ship and stuff like that. And yeah,
yeah.
so but this time it definitely won't, it was fine.
It's worth noting too that from the refueling screen on the Starlight, you can jettison fuel. I'm not exactly sure what the need for that is at this time, but it might matter in the future. And you can also eject your fuel pods, although as you'll see later, that doesn't always work so well. But it's pretty straightforward. Now, the Starlight can only carry 20 SU in each of its containers, which means you can only do a couple missions when you're refueling hydrogen. But for quantum fueling purposes, it's pretty good. You can actually also tow people with it, although it doesn't work incredibly well. I think you blacked out.
Yeah, I blacked out immediately in I don't know if that's because I wasn't wearing a flight suit or if it's just because the Consolidated Outlands Mustang is just trying to kill you at every turn, but yeah, definitely I definitely blacked out.
It's probably the Mustang, considering we definitely weren't pulling that many Gs.
It's probably the Mustang.
Let's just move on to the actual feeling of the ship, which is going to be the most important thing for something this small.
Yeah, so I didn't get to fly it too much, but that's okay. I'm sure, it's not really a peak performance vehicle. But I'll just love the vibe of Misc ships. They definitely have a vibe to them. Like the feeling of the ship, definitely it's a cool ship. I like it. I like a lot of the little details on it. We found some cool little hidden details, like the toilet roll that comes out. That's pretty fun. There's also just like little greeblies and pipes that, like, one of my favorite things about Misc ships is they look kind of flat and boring from like afar, but once you get up close, there's a lot of like cool little greeblies and stuff like that. Yeah, it's definitely like I kind of want them to make like a hauler that's based off of the Starlight. Like that would be like a
Yeah,
top,
carrying like external cargo.
and like a top, that'd be like a top daily for me because I actually really liked the interior and like the general vibe.
hmm Yeah, I mean, I think this thing takes a lot of energy from other Misc ships. The front looks just like a Starlancer in a lot of ways, down to the little missile pods that drop down out of the chin, which are adorable. And this ship is just bleeding
They are pretty
detail in a
cute.
whole lot of areas when you actually stop to look for it.
Yeah.
It sounds generally pretty well too. The internal sound detail on the ship I thought was really well done. I think they've been stepping up their game in the sound department pretty consistently, and it's noticeable on the newer ships.
Yeah, all around. 100%.
As we were talking about
And like it,
earlier, yeah,
yeah.
those fuel pods don't fall down particularly well. I think that is because we didn't release the clamps on those rings, and I don't really know how you would do that without being on the exterior of the ship. So that's what's talking about that eject button not being incredibly useful. And here's just a lot more examples of those greebles we were talking about. I mean, the cylinders on the engines are the sort of thing that are both relatively well hidden, and you're not going to notice very often, but they add a lot to the actual feeling of the ship.
Yeah, Star Citizen's been doing a lot of cool stuff uh in that realm, I think, on most newer ships.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of the practicality of the interior, it's going to suit one person relatively fine. It does have a suit locker, it's got a bed, it's got a kitchen. The bathroom has a working mirror, and it's one that works well. Multiple players will show up in it. Your hair actually shows up in it.
One of like three.
One of three. Yeah, something super small like that. And I don't see any issues with like the engineering layout on this ship either. It's not meant to get into a fight. You only have 4 size 2s. If you get into one, maybe you'll scare off something like a Mustang, but you're not doing much more than that. It's also worth noting that the remote turn on the ship can be controlled by the pilot. So if you are refueling somebody, you can take control of that turret and aim it in any direction. I can't think of any other ship that's like that. So it is a little unique here.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
Misc stuff is like when they've got when when they're allowed to squirt the sauce, they be squirting. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you did. Hopefully you did watch. And if you did watch, maybe throw us a like and subscribe. Um, Comment below about how much you hate me specifically. Don't say anything about Charles. He's really sensitive. He's doing his best. We know we're working through his problems together. But you can comment about me all you want. Thank you though. Bye.